In this video, I share a clip from my interview with former NFL player and Chicago Bear, Desmond Clark. We discuss the mindset of winning and how to set yourself up for success. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments below that you're new here. And if you've seen some of my content before, please hit that like button and let me know in the comments below what you most enjoyed from this video. Hope you enjoy. The power of mindset, I think, is often overlooked. People don't realize that if you really spend time and you sit down and you just spend time shifting that mindset, that it really can have a big impact on your intended goals.
Right.
So,
right. And I like the way you say intended, because I like to use the word intentional a lot. But intent is just the start. Now you got to put the actions behind it, and then the actions become habits. Um, and that's really being intentional when you put actions behind it. So you go from intent to intentional. And I like to use that word intentional a lot.
yeah, you talk about in the book, the willingness to win. Everybody wants to win. They love that idea of winning, but they might lack that willingness to take action. So how do you find that willingness to act? Is it as simple as putting in the hard work?
Yeah, it's one of those things, and also in that statement also says sometimes people don't know what to do, and
The lack
sometimes
of knowledge.
that can be there also because we don't all have the same exposure to things like that can help us shape that mindset. But when you do have the exposure and when you do know what you can do, um, it's now, am I willing to suffer through the hard work? Because, and I chose to suffer intentionally. If I want to go out and lose some weight, I'm gonna have to suffer through not eating as much and maybe going out and running. And none of that stuff is pleasure. For some people, it's pleasurable, but naturally, it's not pleasurable to not to eat what you want to eat and go and force yourself to do extracurricular activity that's going to push you to the limit. So then it just becomes a choice of, am I willing to accept the suffering that I got to put myself through, or you can just call it a nicer word of discipline. Am I going to be disciplined enough to push myself through the obstacles that I have to push myself through to get to the other side? And really, that's what it comes down to, the obstacles. Am I willing to challenge the obstacles that's in my way? And a lot of times, people are not. And that's okay, as long as you're making a conscious choice.
Right. Exactly. That's great. Another big key that you talk about for excellence is having passion and purpose. If you can maybe talk a little bit more about that concept that you have in the book, and how are you applying that passion that you have throughout your life? Obviously, sports has been a passion of yours, and a big purpose that you've had. But you've also found ways to pivot post-NFL career. You're doing things like speaking and business coaching and entrepreneurship. So if you can just maybe touch a little bit more on that topic of passion and pursuing that purpose.
Yeah, and passion and purpose, it evolves over time. I don't have the same passion that I had for certain stuff when I was in my 20s, now that I'm 43 years old. So I believe when you really sit down and think about, hey, what am I passionate about? What is my purpose? And start asking yourself all of these why questions. It's easier to get up in the morning and face the challenges that you have to face when you know why you're doing it. One of the things, I don't know if I said it in the book or it's just something I said before, it's easier to fight. It's easier to fight for something than it is to fight through something. And when you could get up and you're fighting for something and you're doing something for a good reason that gets you going, that motivates you, that's easier than just getting up and doing something that, is not something that you don't necessarily have to do, but you're doing it anyway. So I think it's very important to find that purpose. And I know you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, find your purpose in life and you'll never work," and all of that kind of stuff. I wouldn't even go that far, but in everything that you do, you can find a reason if you want to get up and do it. Well, who likes to get up and go to work? Like, I wish I could sit around all day and still live a nice life, but that's not logical. That's not realistic. So I find things in my work that is purple that they're purposeful for me and that I have a passion for. Like, I have a passion for helping people. I have a passion for helping people get to that next level, whether it's whatever resource or expertise that I may have. That's what I give because it was given to me, and because it was given to me, I feel an obligation to give it back, and that's part of my passion and my purpose, written purpose that I have. I just love doing that.
Yeah, that's great. There's another one of the 5 keys of excellence that you have here is being self-motivated, and I think that ties in so well with having that passion and finding your why. The thing that stands out to me with this section is self-motivation is about you and only you. To me, I'm no exception. I do this myself. People make excuses. People want to put their troubles or their failures off onto other people. So I think it's just a great reminder that self-motivation, it's about you and only you and not anybody else.
Right. And once you get to a certain age in life, you have to stop making excuses that it was other people's fault. Or so I have this thing: fault versus responsibility. Okay, it was their fault, but whose responsibility is it? And then that's the only thing that you need to know. It's your responsibility to do the things that you need to do. It may be somebody else's fault. Like, somebody ran into the back of my truck, a parked truck outside. It's somebody's fault that I got to bust it back in, but it's my responsibility to go get it fixed. And you could use that metaphor in life. Like, sometimes, yeah, people come in and they bust you back in, and you didn't ask for it, but it's only your responsibility to get it fixed. And and when you talk about self motivation, people talk about motivation a lot, but when you talk about self motivation, they don't pay enough attention to the self part. Like, whatever you do is because you choose to do it, whether it was a conscious decision. You chose to do it, and I like to say that the thing that we do have 100% control of is our attitude, our effort, and our choices. We do. Unless somebody has a gun to your head, and then
Right.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. That's such a great message, because there's so many times in life that we're thrown shade at us, and you don't have control over certain things that happen to you, but you can control your mindset. You can control how you react to it and the action that you take. So I think that's a great message.
Let's say, like, this COVID-19 situation is something that I've been talking about a lot, and trying my best to put out positive messages about this. And no doubt, there's some people out here that's hurting, that they've taken 10 steps back. They didn't cause this. They had no effect on this, but now they lost their job. Now they can't pay their bills. Now the kids are suffering because and I was just a hardworking person, but it's all about, now you got to embrace this situation because you're in the situation. Nothing that you can do to change the situation. You're in it. So you might as well embrace it. And once you embrace it, now you unlock that self motivation part of yourself to say, okay, now what do I have to do? You unlock that creativity. You unlock that imagination side of yourself of what do I need to do, or what can I do to help myself better the situation. And that's really the only thing that you can do that's positive. Because, like I said, I know some people in dire situations that is not much that they can do, outside of just trying to be imaginative and trying to create some type of momentum. So eventually they get out of the situation. And that's really the only way that you're going to keep a positive mindset about this whole situation if you're in one of those situations.
For sure. I hope people take this situation and apply it to life when this is all said and done, because there still will be challenges, there will be adversity. This is not the end of a challenging time. While we all want it to end sooner rather than later, we will face adversity for the rest of our lives. And I think we can use the lessons that we're learning right now and apply that to life moving forward. So,
Yeah,
um,
could I say this about life?
yeah, please.
And this is something that I really try to focus on, because we're all human, we all react, right? Um, but we know in life, it's not just going to be a straight line. You're going to have ups and downs, right? So when I see situations where people are down, something happens, somebody hits your car outside when it's parked. Why do we get so like bent out of shape when something bad happens? We know that bad stuff is going to happen in life. And when I was talking to my lady on the phone about the car accident, she was like, "Well, you seem to be in a good mood." And my French, I was like, "Well, shit happens, you know. Like, well, what am I going to do about it now? Did I want it to happen? No. But in life, stuff is going to happen, and when that stuff happens, I mean, unless it's life and death, why get bent out of shape? Uh, Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna happen, and I just not necessarily waiting for it, but when it does come, I just want to have the mindset of, yeah, if something was bound to happen.